Hello class, so today I'm going to get you started on outlining for your next project. First step we need to do is create a border. We're going to be doing a 6" by 6" square. So make sure you start at the 0, end at the 6. To make your life easier as you're measuring, mark a 3 on each line you draw, just so that we get our halfway marks. And you guys should be using a 2H pencil so that you have light lines. After you measured your square and have your midlines, go ahead and just connect so that we can have a quadrant. And you should see 4 equal squares in your quadrant. If you see that one looks bigger than the other in any direction, then you did it wrong and you can check your measurements again. And the next thing we're going to be starting is our outline. So at your groups you will have reference photos split into quadrants similar to the fox drawing that we did. So for example, I will be drawing this image there, and to do that we first want to look at the colors. Now the image that I have on my computer, it uses about these 3 colors in the first quadrant shown. So I have Spanish orange, canary yellow, and yellow orange. And what we're going to do is start getting our outline in. And you can do that by very, very lightly going in with your pencil, your colored pencil, and marking your edges wherever they intersect with the lines. And remember, most of our organic shapes are just a bunch of straight lines put together. After you have your outline, you can go ahead and start shading. So my first value tone is an orange tone. So I'm going to go with my colored pencil, color it in. Make sure your pencil's sharp, it helps a lot. And just start filling in these tones. I'm doing kind of a gray wash, just a light general tone over wherever I see yellow. And if I look at my image, I start to see orange more in this area and towards the center. Before I actually commit with this color, what I'm going to do is just do some testing down here or on a separate piece of paper. So I think this would be the one that I'm looking for. This is called yellow orange, and this one here is Spanish orange. This is the one I need, so I'm going to start filling in that tone there. You can overlap the colors to make them blend in with each other. And really work on getting those different value shades in your drawing. Towards the outside, I can see somewhat of a shadow, so I can go with my 2H pencil. I don't have a 2H, I'm just using a regular one, but make sure you're using a 2H pencil and plotting down your shadow points. You can even start blending it in a little bit. So one thing that's important for when you are drawing, make sure that you test your colors before you actually apply them. So for example, this tone here, it's got a green-yellow blend, so I tested my canary yellow. And then I went over with some very light, how do you say this, chartreuse. And if I was satisfied with that, then I apply it on my page. Same for this middle tone here, it's a bit too orange. So I'm going to take my yellow orange pencil and I'm gonna mix it with some sienna brown, and it'll give me more of a red orange or a darker yellow orange. So here's an example of the yellow orange. Then I'm gonna cover it very light with some sienna brown. It'll make it darker, a little bit almost red orange. And we're gonna use just a little bit of that in this corner. Something like that. All right, so I'm not sure if you guys are able to notice, but I added some texture. I was experimenting with the different kinds of dots that I can draw using different pencils. So I used goldenrod brown. I tested some of those dots down and I put some here. Now keep in mind, as your value tone shifts, your dots of the texture are going to shift. So if you're doing something like my project reference photo, keep that in mind. For example, I use goldenrod here. As I got more towards this yellow-green area, I used the chartreuse to add those dots. And as I got to this top right corner where it's more yellow-orange, I used yellow-orange to make those dots. So after you spent some time on your first quadrant, if you think you're ready for the second quadrant, come up to my desk. I'll give you the second photo that you can use for reference. And then I want you to continue working on your image here in the second quadrant.